The concept of the balanced scorecard tries to embody best practices from across the best business writers and analysts available. What we've tried to do is, inside each perspective, gather the key issues related to that aspect of your business. In the financial perspective, we're looking for things that drive shareholder value or financial success. Those things generally fit into one of three categories. Your financial focus is either on financial productivity, which are things like improving the cost structure of the organization. Revenue growth, which is obviously about increasing revenue, building a franchise, leveraging customer value, or optimizing use of assets. So in the Southwest example that we often use, the financial objective up there is fewer planes. So in the case of an airline where my most expensive asset, of course, is the airplane itself, what we want to do is make sure that capacity is being used by passengers as much as possible. But if we said optimize use of assets, most participants and readers of the strategy model would not get it. But if we say fewer planes, it puts a simplified vision to optimize use of assets. On the customer perspective, typically we're looking for one or more of these three categories of what drives customer value. Customers will do business with you either because of the product attributes, the functionality, the quality, the timeliness of your service, the breadth of your offerings, the price, sort of the value, or the image, right? You might want to wear Nike clothes because of the brand as opposed to the functionality, or how knowledgeable and professional the staff is, or finally, the relationship. So the availability of support, the experience, convenience, responsiveness, flexibility, and values. So typically, the customer value equation fits within a combination of those three attributes. When we're looking for internal business perspective objectives, they typically fit into one of four categories: either product leadership, operational excellence, customer intimacy, or regulatory compliance. Now, this is based on some work from Tracy and Wisma, which is well documented in the discipline of market leaders. But the net issue is organizations are either in the product leadership category. In that case, it might be something like innovation for Pizza Hut, how they're always innovating their pizzas. They're good at identifying their markets, coming out with fast new products, which may or may not be in the market for that long, and they form joint ventures and partnerships. Operational excellence is more like the Pizza or Domino's franchises in the pizza market, where they're optimizing supply chain, operations, capacity, and logistics. Customer intimacy is more like the local pizza joint that you'd go to, where chances are there's little innovation going on. They don't give it to you inside the same 30 minutes that Pizza does, but you're getting, the attention, the customer service, a relationship, and so forth. And then the fourth category is regulatory compliance. So what are the internal processes needed to conform to regulatory, legislative, or stakeholder expectations? Finally, learning and growth, or what we've come to call enablers. These are the intangible assets, the people, the systems, the climate, the culture, the things that support the overall business success. Again, they typically fit into three categories. About your competency pool, building the skill set and resources available at the right place at the right time. Strategic technologies. So for FedEx, strategic technologies are not the airplanes and the trucks. They could replace those tomorrow. It's the customer database and their ability to track orders and that sort of thing. Then finally, the culture or climate for action. It's about the awareness, the alignment, the integration, readiness, motivation, satisfaction of your employees. So when you begin extracting your strategic objectives from your existing documentation, you can use this as a filter to sort out which perspective it should fit in. Inside of the first book, Balanced Scorecard, we draw a picture like this that tries to describe those same categories. For example, the financial has either productivity or revenue growth. In this is about cost, asset utilization. In revenue, it's about customer value or new revenue and so forth. Now, it's a bit of a complicated chart. We tend to draw it a bit more simpler way to say, typically, we're going to have financial productivity revenue. Inside customers, about brand, service, or functionality. In internal, it's about innovation, operational excellence, customer intimacy, and enablers about skills, culture, and enabling structures. That's enough as a reminder to help you categorize the strategic objectives that your team will be putting together.